So this is going to be part 5 to what if Deku had D4C as a quirk. So with that being said, let's just roll the intro.
They took it to 10. Let me tell you how I come through with the 1-2, kicking shit like kung fu. Treat a bad bitch like she average. I'm a savage, little hoe, what you want do? I'm about cash if the raw fast. I'ma get that little nigga by any means.
Alright, I like to say this before we actually start the what if. In the last video I did the all for one what if. I asked you guys if you could go check out that review that I did for Kaguya-sama, because at the time the average watch time was like less than a minute, and after that video got posted I went back to see the analytics for the review and I saw that it went up by 20 views, which is pretty great because in those type of videos they'll kind of plateau at a point where they just won't get that many views, but 20 views in a day for at least those type of videos is actually pretty good, or like an increase of 20. And the watch time itself went up by a minute and 20, I believe, because before it was like around 40 seconds. So I really appreciate those who went to go watch it, even though it's not my main like staple of content and it's not the content you subscribed for. I really do appreciate those who watch it and those who watch it all the way to the end, right? So I would also like to say, go follow my Twitter if you want to personally message me your what ifs, because I will respond, and then I might do like some polls on Twitter to see what ifs you guys want to see. So if you're interested in like that kind of idea, then you could go and follow me. I'll have a link in the description, or you could go into the about section in my channel to find the link there also. So with that being said, let's actually get into what if. So in the last video, or the last part, we just got done with the obstacle course, and the results were Todoroki in first, Deku in second, Yorashi in third, and then Bakugo in fourth. So because that Bakugo is not in the top 3, he would be more aggressive to try to get points. So instead of Monoma, which is the guy with the copy quirk, instead of him going after Bakugo, I think Bakugo would go after him first, since Monoma would have a lot of points from just getting it from other people. So that's what he would kind of do, right? I think Monoma in this scenario would be it'd be easier for him to defend and actually attack, because I think in the original, the way that he was able to do it was like kind of a sneak attack. And yeah, so with Deku, the way that he would protect himself and try to get points would be the ability. This doesn't really have a name to it, but D4C has the ability to have simultaneous dimensions happen on the same plane of existence. So they'll have like multiple versions of each other on like the same plane of existence, but I don't think it doesn't matter if they touch each other. It's just like they're just seeing each other from like different parallel like universes and stuff like that. So this would confuse a lot of the students there, because they don't understand what's happening and they see doubles of themselves, so no one really knows which one's real and which one's not. So this would kind of give Deku an advantage of stealing people's headbands, because he would know which ones are which. And I think people like Shinso would be able to tell, because if he wouldn't be able to mind control the doubles in that case, because they're not really real, at least to my understanding. So what Todoroki would try to be doing would try to protect himself, because there'd be a lot of people actually going for him since he has the number 1 headband. But he doesn't get that many people going after him, since there's so many other duplicates of himself, since Deku did that ability to kind of have 2 parallel universes, or multiple parallel universes, kind of be on the same plane. So overall, I think after this is kind of done, it would just be the top kind of finalists. So for Deku's team, I think it'd be the same with the teams are basically the same except for like Yoroshi's. I think he would have let's just say he has like Suyu, um Shinso, not Shinso, Shoji, and let's see who else. And I guess Mineta, right? So we get to the actual tournament part. Bakugo lost because he wasn't able to get enough points. So we get to Deku's first kind of match. And before, the match actually starts, this is when Ojiro actually tells him about how be wary of Shinso's quirk, right? So the fight with Shinso goes kind of how it does in the anime. Shinso asks Deku a question about his, like, how does it feel to have such a heroic quirk while his is deemed villainous. And Deku wouldn't, like, he would say, like, I don't know what you mean. Since he answered the question, he would get mind controlled. And Deku starts trying to walk off the stage or the arena. And then this is when D4C actually grabs him. D4C does not have a personality to itself, so you can't really mind control it. And stands are meant to protect the user, so it would make sense that D4C would try to hold him. D4C would kind of like shake him to kind of like get him out of it, so that so he would not become, get him out of mind control. After seeing what happened, Deku would be like, alright, I need to finish this fight fast. So he would just be like, D4C. And then D4C would just kind of like throw Shinso out of the ring, since Shinso isn't that strong. And he can't really mind control D4C because he doesn't talk. So, the next battle would be, let me think. So the next fight would be, the kid with the belly button laser versus, versus Suyu, which is the frog girl. So in this case, I think Suyu would win because she's a lot faster, and I don't think the other guy would be able to keep up with her speed. So the next fight would be Tetsu versus Mineta, and I think in this one it'd be a very hard fight because Tetsu has really good defense, while Mineta also has pretty good defense with his sticky ball, so it'd be hard for either of them to knock each other out or out of the ring. But let's just say Mineta loses, because he probably would in this kind of fight. Tetsu cannot really get hurt by Mineta in any way, really, since he's like made out of steel. So it just makes sense if Mineta would lose. The other fights still have the same results, with the main three still winning them. So we get to the fight with what's it called? Deku versus Yarashi. So, or no, it'd be Deku versus Todoroki. So in this fight, it would be pretty even, I guess, because all the ice that Todoroki would do would be just smashed away by D4C. So Deku would kind of egg on what's it called? He would egg on Todoroki, like he would say like, everyone at this sports festival is trying their all, but yet you're only using half your power. Do you really think you could beat me with that? You could see how easily I'm destroying your ice. You're not going to be able to win this. Eventually I'll get to you. And as he's saying this, he's like breaking down like a bunch of ice to try to get to Todoroki. And Todoroki's just thinking about it like, maybe he's right. I don't know if I could beat him like this. And Deku would be like, are you doing this just because you don't like your dad? Because it's pretty obvious, right? because everyone would know. Because not only the scar, but he just doesn't like to use his fire side. Who uses fire in his family? It's Endeavor, so it makes sense. So yeah, I know that the scar didn't come from Endeavor, it came from the mom, but people would assume so. So Todoroki's like, all right, I'm gonna have to do this. And right when the last like pillar of ice is broken, this is when Todoroki actually blasts a very powerful fireball through there, or fire blast, I guess. And right, after the fire is gone, he goes to check, and there's nothing but a kind of singed jacket there. And then he's like, "Oh my God, where did he go?" And this is when Deku appears behind him and says, "Nothing personal, kid." I'm just joking. But yeah, he would use his jacket, he would take it off, and then he would go in between two objects, which would be the jacket and the ground. And he would go behind Todoroki and use D4C to kind of punch him in the gut. And this would send him flying and hit a wall, and it would make a slight crater in it. So this is how Deku would win this fight. So with Yarashi, it goes a little different because Yarashi doesn't have like anything that would block the vision. So it'd be hard for Deku to find a good spot to actually go in between two objects. For this last fight with Yarashi, I think in this case Yarashi would win because anytime Deku would try to go in between two objects, Yarashi could just like use his air to like make that object like fly away, because the only thing he has really is his clothes to do it with. So it'd be kind of pointless, and it'd be hard for Deku to actually sneak up on him because unlike Todoroki, he doesn't have any kind of skills that like obscure vision with the ice and things like that. And not only that, but Yarashi can fly, and Deku cannot. And Deku himself isn't that physically strong. He does have one for all, so he'd be able to kind of, hold his own for a bit. But overall, in this kind of battle, he's not prepared for it, and he can't really do anything. So eventually, the wind would just pick him up and throw him outside the arena, and he would lose. And Yarashi would be the winner of the sports festival. So in this, first place would go to Yarashi, second to Deku, and third to Todoroki. So in this one, there isn't Bakugo to be angry at, so the villains don't really take too much notice. They do notice that Deku's there, the same person who killed the Nomu, so the League of Villains would know that. And in this case, All Might would go up to all of them and kind of congratulate them on how they did. I don't think he gave too much advice for Yarashi. I think at most he would be like, try to calm down a bit with the fanboy. Alright, and then for Deku, he would be like, I think you rely too much on your quirk, and you need to kind of outsmart your opponent, because in this case you were fighting against someone that was at range, and you couldn't really like fight him. So for Todoroki, he would say something like, Todoroki, you were only fighting at 50% for most of the fights. If you were to go all out, maybe it would have been different. But you also need to remember that enemies will try to like, make you second guess yourself and make you like angry on purpose to kind of draw your attention away. And this is when you're open to attacks. So yeah, that's what he would tell him. So as they're going back to the kind of locker room, this is when Ida, gets that call and talks about how like his brother was attacked by the hero killer stain. And Midoriya can see that something's different with Ida, but Ida just says, "Oh, it's just fine." So we would get to the point where they pick hero names. Um, I don't know what I should call Deku's hero name. You guys can tell me in the comments because I don't really know. So we get later on, and everyone's choosing their kind of internship, right? Todoroki still gets the most since he is the son of Endeavor, and then Yoshi would get the second amount, like the second most, and Deku would get the third amount. So I think All Might would tell Deku that he got an offer from his mentor, Gran Torino, since both of them have one for all. And Deku doesn't really use it on himself, he mostly uses it with D4C. So it'd be a great way to train himself. So yeah. I think I'll end it here. And in the next episode, you guys can tell me the hero name and things like that. So I did a subscriber special earlier for 600 subscribers, so go check that out if you can. Did a Q&A recently. Remember the reviews I do, things like that. Follow me on Twitter, DM me if you want. So with that being said, this is going to be the end of the video. So yeah,